Well, good morning, everybody. I trust everybody had a wonderful, wonderful weekend with the snow and the wind and the ice and all. I had a thrilling weekend. Saturday, I drove over to St. Lawrence University up in Canton, New York. It's a long drive, about a 5-hour drive over the top of New York. That evening, they got nailed with 16 inches of snow on top of already we were walking up to our knees. Nothing was plowed on that road at all going across upstate New York on Route 11, all the way to Lake Champlain. We were pushing 8 inches of snow on, and we couldn't see the highway. We drove about 30 miles per hour. Tried to stay on the road. Once I was off the road because there was just nothing on the side. You didn't know where the road was. And so that was a thrill, especially when then all that ice builds up in the front end and then it starts shimming at about 40 miles an hour. You have to take it to a garage and let it thaw out. I don't know.
Also that you could be here today.
I'm really excited about sitting down without having to look down the window at white. Okay, so the first bill we have on the docket today, we are executing bills today. First one is 112. HB 112. It requires students in the university system and community college systems of New Hampshire to pass the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services Civics Naturalization Test. And I'd like to look to Representative McGuire for a motion, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to retain.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion made by Representative McGuire and second by Representative Luno to retain HB 112. Further discussion from the maker of the motion? Any?
Not particularly.
Okay, from the second? Any further discussion from committee members? Not seeing any. Madam Clerk, when you're ready, we're ready.
Representative Spilsbury,
Yes.
Representative McGuire,
Yes.
Representative Erb,
Yes.
Representative Kofalt,
Yes.
Representative Colcom,
Yes.
Representative Popovich,
Yes.
Representative Brown, yes. Representative Mahegan,
Yes.
Representative Peoples,
Yes.
Representative Luno,
Yes.
Representative Ames,
Yes.
Representative Burton,
Yes.
Representative Fellows,
Yes.
Representative Damon,
Yes.
Representative Bricky,
Yes.
Representative Chrétien,
Yes.
Representative Weinstein,
Yes.
and Chairman Ladd.
Yes.
18 yeas, 0 nays.
Any problem with consent?
Let's retain.
It's retained, so there's
Oh,
no
shoot.
report.
Gotta wake up a little bit here. Okay, thank you very much. So that bill has been retained. The next bill on the docket is 510. This relative to establishing certain due process rights for students, student organizations, and faculty members facing disciplinary actions by the state institutions of higher learning. We're going to pass over this bill today. It will be on the docket next Tuesday. I ask that folks from the university system, the community college system, meet with us following this meeting. And we'll look at that bill 510. Next one down, looking at 659, establishing the New Hampshire College Graduate Retention Incentive Program. And Representative Spilsbury?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move ITL on HB 659.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion made by Representative Spilsbury and second by Representative Luno to ITL HB 659. Representative Spilsbury, do you have anything to add?
Not very much. Unfortunately, the prime sponsor was unavailable at the time the hearing occurred. I think it's a complex bill and one that we're not prepared to move ahead with.
Representative Luno? Any further discussion from committee members? Not seeing any hands. When you're ready, Madam Clerk?
Representative Spilsbury,
Yes.
Representative McGuire,
Yes.
Representative Erb,
Yes.
Representative Cobalt,
Yes.
Representative Colcom,
Yes.
Representative Popovich,
Yes.
Representative Brown, yes. Representative Mahegan,
Yes.
Representative Peoples,
Yes.
Representative Luno,
Yes.
Representative Ames,
Yes.
Representative Burton,
Yes.
Representative Fellows,
Yes.
Representative Damon,
Yes.
Representative Bricky,
Yes.
Representative Chrétien,
Yes.
Representative Weinstein,
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
and Chairman Led,
Yes.
18 yea, 0 nays.
Any objection to consent? Okay, fine, thank you. The next bill which we have on the docket is HB 770, relative to establishing a program to earn tuition credits for state of New Hampshire higher education institutions through community service.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
could we just hold off on that one till later this morning? Because I think we're expecting a potential amendment from the prime sponsor.
If you have one coming to us, we can hold off and take this at the bottom here,
That'd be great.
and then we'll look at it for discussion purposes.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, HB 646. This is a bill requiring school.
583.
Okay, Represent, HB 583, relative to state participation in the Medicaid Direct Certification Program for free and reduced price school meals.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I may.
yes.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion of ITL.
We're skipping.
Wait a minute, hold. You wanted to pass on that. What I'm going to do first, before I take the motion, we do have an amendment here, and I'd like to open it up to discussion, not take any action on this amendment, because we've just been handed that amendment.
No, that's the amendment there.
It's the amendment here.
Yes. This is for you.
Thank you very much. Okay, remember that this amendment we're going to be discussing, but we're still in discussion stage on this. I don't think we've seen this amendment before.
No, actually, Mr. Chair, we did circulate the amendment at the work session on these bills last week.
Oh, we did.
Yep. So you may already have this in your file.
Okay, go ahead and once again, please then explain what your amendment's all about.
Sure. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So the underlying bill is House Bill 583, which would have the Department of Education apply to the USDA for participation in the Medicaid Direct Certification Pilot Program. And what this means is school districts all across the state who participate in the USDA's free and reduced price lunch program would no longer have to have students in those districts fill out paperwork to qualify for the program. They would be qualified by virtue of their enrollment in Medicaid. And we heard from the director of who directs the Medicaid program in New Hampshire that they'd be able to have an opt-out during the Medicaid enrollment process. But basically, again, and the underlying bill itself would identify an additional approximately 10,000 students, and that's what's in the second handout that went around that has the list of all the cities and towns, and it's a little buggy. It was produced by Department of Education a year ago, Mark Manganiello, who produced it, said, yeah, there's a couple, there's some bugs in it that I think probably go in both directions. But you can see that throughout the state, with Medicaid direct certification, as opposed to just using the free and reduced price lunch paperwork, that we'd identify about another 10,000 students statewide that would qualify for free and reduced price lunch. And as many of us who have been involved in school funding, so that what I've just been talking about is basically feeding kids from low income backgrounds, making sure that they can get a free or reduced price lunch that is paid for by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. So what the amendment does, and it really happens in section 2 here, is it provides a budget neutral impact when it comes to using the free and reduced price lunch ADM data in the school funding formula. So it would hold the school funding formula used for the FY26 and FY27 budget. So the budget that's being, that the governor introduced last week, it would be budget neutral. So it would hold the differentiated aid and the extraordinary needs grant, which are both calculated based on the free and reduced price lunch membership. It would hold those steady based on the FY25, the current school year that we're in. So it wouldn't have any impact on adequacy. Had we not put section 2 in the amendment, you'd basically see the adequacy grant go up based on these additional 10,000 students, and it would go up by I think it's $2,300 per $2,390, so almost $2,400 per student. So it would be a $24 million impact in each of the 2 years. So the amendment makes that budget neutral. And why do we want to make it budget neutral? Because we feel that the policy is very important to make sure that number one, we're identifying the eligible, students who are eligible for free and reduced price lunch, as 43 other states currently do it today. We're able to use the Medicaid data with a secure handoff between DHHS and the Department of Education. And DHHS has testified that they're able to put a opt-out section in there for Medicaid families when they're applying, if they don't want to be considered as part of the free and reduced price lunch program. So that's a big reason to it. There are 2 additional reasons why Medicaid direct certification is really important. Down the road, obviously, we're looking at doing something with the school funding formula, and clearly students that come from low income backgrounds provide challenges to school districts. I like to say, you know what? It costs more to educate 1,000 kids in Manchester than it does 1,000 kids in Bedford, because the challenges are different. And so I think we would want to, as a state, since we're relying on free and reduced price lunch membership as a proxy for families with students, from students with low income backgrounds, that we'd want to at least use accurate data. And Medicaid direct certification would provide that accurate data for use in the school funding formula. But let's make it budget neutral. We're going to push that off for at least a couple of years. The third thing that's important for this is that the free and reduced price lunch information is used by Health and Human Services at the federal level to calculate the child care scholarship that the state receives, that it can give out to qualified families to help child care become more affordable. And anybody that's seen the news in the last couple of days is aware of the recent report from the New Hampshire Fiscal Policy Institute talking about how the average childcare cost for 2 kids in childcare is running families about $32,000 a year. So this brings money into the state from a federal grant. tied to free and reduced price lunch membership, and the Medicaid direct certification helps us do that. So the all in all, these are all really good reasons why why we feel the Medicaid direct certification is important. I guess one final thing, and we haven't really talked much about this, is that in many cases the reimbursement amount that school districts receive for free and reduced price lunch is higher than their retail price that they charge for lunch. So many districts actually come out ahead when they quote sell a free and reduced price lunch meal rather than paying the sticker price for that lunch. So these are all really strong things. You can take a look at the town by town, and again with the caveat that it's a little bit buggy, but I think it's in general close, and you can see the impact it has in the communities you serve and the communities all across the state. And it's about $1,000 per student. That's the savings for families. So when you take a look at Manchester, and where do I find it here? Manchester's seeing about an 1,100 student increase with Medicaid direct certification versus having chasing around kids for free and reduced price lunch paperwork. That's a that's a $1 million, $1.1 million savings for low-income families in the Queen City. So we hope people will find this bill to be something that we can move forward with as a state with this amendment, given the budget challenges we're facing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We are going to go directly into caucus at this time. So we're going to have to clean the room out here, and are you going to be caucusing in
Yeah, we'll just be
in the other room, and we'll caucus in this room. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Jen, are we turned off upstairs?
The amendment and the
Testing.
Testing.
Okay, we're out of caucus now. We're back into a full executive session, and we're back on HB 583. And I am going to recognize Representative Popovich for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll move ITL on HB 583.
Second.
And if I may briefly,
Okay, hold on a second. So we have a motion that's made by Representative Popovich and second by Representative McGuire. Representative Popovich.
thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want, yes,
You said 588.
583 I said.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for checking. I just will be brief because we've had extensive discussions about this bill, the previous term and this term. I appreciate the intent of the amendment, but at the end of the day, all it does is that it kicks the can down the road for 2 years. I don't think that something that's not good policy, if adopted as is, will be good policy because we delay the massive financial impact for 2 years. So for that reason, I'd like to move forward to the ITL motion on the bill as is. Thank you.
Is the maker, the second, got anything to say?
I'll just say that there's a lot of parts of the adequacy formula, even on the right-hand side, that depend on free and reduced lunch numbers. And so changing those has a lot of implications for funding.
Thank you. Further discussion? Yes, Representative Luno.
Thanks very much. I'm actually really glad that you guys are making the motion for ITL, and we'll certainly be roll calling this and fighting this on the floor. But it does not kick the can down the road. In fact, it immediately would begin enrolling kids from low-income families in the federal USDA grant so that they can begin eating. We're talking about 10,000 kids who live all across the state, so it begins feeding kids immediately. It also provides the state with an accurate number, not a make-believe number, when it comes to identifying the number of kids from low-income backgrounds that attend our public schools. And obviously we all know that that's part of the adequacy funding formula. But with an amendment, it would also recognize the budget challenges. So if kicking the can down the road means having accurate numbers for our funding formula, yeah, but that certainly doesn't sound like a financially responsible type of statement to make. The third thing it does is directs more federal health and human services money to New Hampshire for the child care scholarship, and we're talking about millions of dollars that families that are struggling to pay for childcare, and we can see from the most recent New Hampshire Fiscal Policy Report what impact that has on workforce and our economy. The fourth thing it does is it actually increases revenues for our local school districts, who most of them charge less than the reimbursement amount for lunch. So this becomes a net positive for them. And then the fifth thing that we didn't talk about, the Representative Fellows mentioned when we were just meeting, is how IDEA actually uses free and reduced price lunch counts to help calculate the Title I funds that our schools receive. So if that's kicking the can down the road, I think what I'm hearing from the other side is kicking the can down the road.
Further discussion? Representative Damon?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I echo everything Representative Luno said vigorously. I would also point out that it is not fiscally responsible to do this because children with food insecurity are twice as likely to receive special ed services, twice as likely to retreat a grade, have increased hyperactivity and difficulty focusing, and they're twice as likely to have behavioral issues that lead to suspension. So they cost more money when they're not fed. It's unconscionable that we can't figure out a way to go forward with this.
Further discussion from the committee? Not seeing any hands. Madam Clerk, or Representative Spilsbury?
I would just like to state that every student who is eligible can apply today. So
Further
I don't think it
discussion?
changes that.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll? This is 583. 583 is a bill relative to state participation in the Medicaid Direct Certification Program for free and reduced price school meals.
Representative Spilsbury,
Yes?
Representative McGuire,
Yes.
Representative Erf,
Yes.
Representative Kofalt,
Yes.
Representative Colcom,
Yes.
Representative Popovich,
Yes.
Representative Brown, yes. Representative Mahigan. Representative
Yes.
Representative Peoples,
Yes.
Representative Luno,
No.
Representative Ames,
No.
Representative Burton,
No.
Representative Fellows,
No.
Representative Damon,
No.
Representative Bricky,
Absolutely not.
Representative Chrétien,
No.
Representative Weinstein,
No.
and Chairman Ladd.
Yes.
10 yeas and 8 nays.
Okay. The majority report by Representative Popovich and the minority report by
I'll do it.
Representative Luno. Okay, going on to the next bill on the list here, it's HB 646. Yes.
Will the minority motion be OTPA?
It will be, ought to pass.
Okay. So going to the next bill, requiring school districts to establish an online application for participation in the free and reduced price meal program. This is HB 646. I'm going to pass the gavel off to Representative Spilsbury.
Thank you. So on HB 646, I recognize Representative Ladd to make a motion.
Yes, I make the motion of ITL on 646.
Second,
Second.
Representative McGuire. And would you like to speak to your motion?
Just very, very briefly, 646, a bill which provides online application for participation in the free and reduced program. I know my school district is doing this currently without the need for the legislation. I know others in the state are doing the same. So if a school district desires to put an online application out for participation in the free and reduced price meal program, they can do so without the need for this legislation.
Any further discussion? Representative Weinstein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for taking my question or my comment. I did put an amendment in. It's not ready yet. That would change the program, removing the mandate and making it a grant program for districts to be reimbursed for the initial costs. So I heard from the business administrator in Newmarket, and the cost for Newmarket, and it varies widely throughout the state because it depends on their platform that they use. So the cost in Newmarket was about $3,500, and then obviously with additional annual costs for the process. So I'm not really sure what it is. Annual fee. Thank you. So
at this point in time, there is a motion. If this is voted down, then you can bring your amendment forward.
okay.
It would go the other way. So we have a motion on the floor. That's ITLs, and we need to take care of this motion first. So any further discussion on the ITL? Yes, Representative Luno.
Yeah, Mr. Chair. So, given the fact that we've got an amendment that has been outlined by Representative Weinstein, would and that we're about ready to take a vote on the motion, I guess I would ask if the chair is interested in looking at that amendment before taking a dispositive motion in committee. Would we be interested in maybe bumping this one to the end of today or to the February 25th executive session?
There is a motion on the floor right now, and I'm not going to pull the motion back. Is the second going to pull it back? No. I think we have a motion. Let's take care of it. If this motion fails, then you can bring forward another motion. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Spilsbury,
Yes.
Representative McGuire,
Yes.
Representative Erf,
Yes.
Representative Kofalt,
Yes.
Representative Colcom,
Yes.
Representative Popovich,
Yes.
Representative Brown, yes. Representative Mahigan,
Yes.
Representative Peoples,
Yes.
Representative Luno,
No.
Representative Ames,
No.
Representative Burton,
No.
Representative Bellows,
No.
Representative Damon,
No.
Representative Ritchie,
No.
Representative Prithian,
No.
Representative Weinstein,
No.
and Chairman Ladd.
Yes.
10 yea and 8 nay.
So I will make, go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the vote being 10-8. ITL, Representative Ladd will write the majority report. Who will write the minority?
Representative Weinstein
And OTP?
for OTP.
Okay, very good. That closes the executive session on 646.
Okay, the next bill up is HB 665. This is a bill relative to eligibility for the free school meals program, and I look to Representative Colcom for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I make a motion to retain this bill.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor by Representative Colcom to retain 665 and second by Representative Luno. Representative Colcom, do you have anything to say?
No, that's okay. I think that speaks for itself.
Representative Luno?
No, okay.
Okay, any further discussion from committee members? Moving forward then with the motion to retain on 665, when you're ready, Madam Clerk.
Representative Spilsbury,
Yes?
Representative McGuire,
Yes.
Representative Erf,
Yes.
Representative Kofalt,
Yes.
Representative Colcom,
Yes.
Representative Popovich,
Yes.
Representative Brown, yes. Representative Mahigan,
Yes.
Representative Peoples,
Yes.
Representative Luno.
Yes.
Representative Ames,
Yes.
Representative Burton,
Yes.
Representative Bellows,
Yes.
Representative Damon,
No.
Representative Bricky, Representative Bricky,
No.
Representative Chrétien,
No.
Representative Weinstein,
Yes.
Chairman Ladd.
Yes.
So we have 11 yay and 3 nay.
So
15-3, sorry. Thank you.
15-3, and so that bill is retained in committee. The next bill down on the docket for today is 703, relative to prohibiting school districts from denying meals to students with unpaid meal balances and making an appropriation therefore. Representative Peoples, is there an amendment for that? Okay, we'll have the amendment discussion. I won't take any motions on that amendment first. Let's hear the amendment.
Thank you, Sally.
Okay, Representative Damon, if you're able, would you speak to the amendment?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is the second amendment. This is 043, excuse me, 0434, which is replacing the bill, and it's replacing the prior amendment that I brought forward last week. Excuse me, and what it does is remove, as the prior amendment did, the section of the bill wherein the Department of Education would have been responsible for paying off school district meal debt. And additionally, it removes lines, oops, sorry. It removes lines 20 through 22 of the original bill, which is clause F pertaining to collections of school meal debt. So what the bill would now do is require a policy statement by school districts regarding fairness and not shaming or bullying students who have unpaid meal balances, and requiring school districts to accept voluntary donations to alleviate school meal debt if that were to be offered to them. There is no cost to this bill. It is simply a statement of appropriate, considerate behavior to students who, through no fault of their own, are poor and have school meal debt.
Any further discussion from committee members on the amendment? Not seeing any. Okay. Then I'm going to look to Representative Peoples for a motion.
Thank you, Chairman Ladd. I want to make a motion to ITL 603-FN-A local.
No,
I'm sorry, 703. And the reason for that is that I was urged.
hold on. You need a second here.
I'm sorry.
Is there a second to
Second.
ITLs? And Madam Clerk, we have a motion made by Representative Peoples to ITL 703 and second by Representative McGuire. Representative Peoples, you're recognized to speak to your motion.
Thank you, Chairman. I was urged by constituencies not to end the ability for them to collect on student lunch programs. It is a self-funded program, and this year our district, it ran a deficit there, and many of the voters at the school deliberative session were there to talk about their displeasure and us subsidizing it in that way. So I'm just following along with my constituents and making a motion to ITL.
Representative McGuire, do you have?
Sure. I think that school districts, should they want to have the policy that's in this amendment, there's nothing that prevents them from doing so, right? So they have the ability, if they want to adopt the policy of not collecting in this way, they can do it.
Further discussion from the committee? Yes, Representative Damon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If I could, Representative Peoples, I need some clarification. So I may be misunderstanding what you just said. The amendment removes the clause prohibiting using a collections agency. Are you indicating that your constituents would prefer that clause remain there, or I'm puzzled?
So I was asked not to approve this bill because they need to have every tool in their toolbox in order to keep their programs running efficiently. If they need to collect money, they need to collect that.
May I respond?
Yes.
So the original bill would not be responsive to what your constituents requested because it does have a clause prohibiting using a collections agency. The amendment removes that. So a school district would be fully able to contract with a collection agency should they choose to do so if the amendment were put forward. And we would be ensuring that every school district, not just the ones that are forward-thinking enough to create this policy, but every school district would be kind to poor children who have meal debt.
Further discussion, Representative Colcom.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I'm still, it's still a no deal for me on item number G, which authorizes the school to complete applications for students. I think this is a data privacy issue, and for that reason, I'm supporting the ITL.
Yes, Representative Damon.
In response to Representative Colcom's statement, that is a federal statute. It's just stating it here as part of this policy. It's not new. It's not, we can't not do that unless the federal law changes.
Further, Representative Luno.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And also, I mean, when we make statements like, well, school districts can already adopt a policy, should they want to. Well, I guess that would apply for all school district policies. However, the general court, by law, actually, laws that we've created, I think require school districts to adopt certain policies in certain areas. That's actually come out of this, out of the former House Education Committee. So where the legislature feels maybe something is so important, and in this case, you know, it could be looked at as victim shaming students or shaming students, then why shouldn't the legislature adopt a law, this bill, to require school districts to not shame students over meal debt? We do it in a lot of other areas, and I think this is an appropriate area too.
Further discussion? Representative Damon?
I would like to ask my colleagues who are opposed to this bill if they believe that A, B, C, D, or E are actually acceptable things for schools to do.
Is there further discussion from the committee? Representative Mahegan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I hope that I can do this justice. With the 37 years of experience I had watching the ladies in the lunchroom who knew the children by name, speak to each of them by name with the care I know the administrators have for each of the kids in that school, they don't need to be told how to treat each kid, and each one is treated individually. Shaming, you don't need to tell a teacher not to shame their kid unless there's a problem in a school, and there you have a dysfunction problem, not a lunch problem. Thank you.
Further discussion from the committee? Not seeing any. We have a motion on the floor, and the motion is for ITL. Madam Clerk, 703.
Representative Spilsbury,
Yes.
Representative McGuire,
Yes.
Representative Erf,
Yes.
Representative Copalt,
Yes.
Representative Colcom,
Yes.
Representative Popovich,
Yes.
Representative Brown, yes. Representative Mahegan,
Yes.
Representative Peoples,
Yes.
Representative Luno.
No.
Representative Ames,
No.
Representative Burton,
No.
Representative Bellows,
No.
Representative Damon,
No.
Representative Bricky,
No.
Representative Chrétien,
No.
Representative Weinstein,
No.
Chairman Ladd,
Yes.
10 yes, 8 no.
Okay. Pardon me? Yeah. Who's going to write the minority report
Well, yeah, Representative Damon for OTP.
and the majority report? You got it? Okay. That'd be Representative Peoples. Okay, the next bill which is on our list is 656. I think we're going to pass on that bill today. So we're going to go to, it's not an early bill. So we're going to go to 771. This is relative to funding for open enrollment schools. I'm going to pass the gavel off.
Okay, so for HB 771, I recognize Representative Ladd for a motion.
Yes, I'd like to make the motion of OTP.
OTP, do we have a second? Representative Kofalt seconds. And would you like to speak to your motion?
Yes, I can briefly speak to this. When I introduced this motion for, or the bill for the prime sponsor and those on it, I had mentioned that this is an opportunity, and that this bill is much different than manifest education hardship. Much, much different. This bill gives the parent the right in a sending school to have their child go to another school nearby, whether it be a public school in the district or outside the district, which is an open enrollment school. And it provides the opportunity for parents to take the advantage of the open enrollment school, which might have a program of studies or a curriculum which is more appropriate for their child that they may see, in the interests of the child and in the best interests of the child. And it's the responsibility of the sending district to place in their budget the revenues for this. And the sending school does not need to be an open enrollment school. The receiving school is the open enrollment school. Thank you very much.
Further comments? Yes, Representative Luno.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, we just talked about what districts can do on their own, or what they can't do on their own, and one of the things this bill seems to require is school districts to establish a line item in their operating budget to reflect expenditures for open enrollment schools. So, does that then require school districts to have to raise public tax money to be sent to outside of the districts if somebody wants to attend a different school? I mean, what are we asking our taxpayers by that line?
We're asking the taxpayers to appropriate dollars to the education of the child, and whether the dollars are better used in a receiving school, which is an open enrollment school, that taxpayer dollar goes over 80%, goes over to the other school, and the sending school keeps the 20%. So I think it's a win-win for everybody, and especially the child who gets the education they need.
Further questions or comments? Okay, seeing none. The clerk will call the roll on the OTP motion on HB 771.
Representative Spilsbury,
Yes.
Representative McGuire,
Yes.
Representative Earth,
Yes.
Representative Kofalt,
Yes.
Representative Colcom,
Yes.
Representative Popovich,
Yes.
Representative Brown, yes. Representative Mahegan,
Yes.
Representative Peoples,
Yes.
Representative Blumenauer,
No.
Representative Ames,
No.
Representative Burton,
No.
Representative Fellows,
No.
Representative Damon,
No, no, no.
Representative Bricky,
No.
Representative Chrétien,
No.
Representative Weinstein,
No.
Chairman Ladd,
Yes.
10 yes and 8 no.
Okay, I'll do the majority report. And minority report. All right, Representative Luno, are you going to be doing?
I'll do the ITS.
Okay, thank you. That's okay. Okay, the next bill which we have in the docket is 718. 718 requires State Board of Education to report the unfunded financial impact to school districts for rules adopted by the board which exceed state or federal minimum standards. And so I'm going to hand the gavel off to Representative Spilsbury.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On HB 718, I'm going to recognize Representative Ladd for a motion.
Yes, I'd like to make the motion of OTP.
OTP is the motion. Second from Representative Kofalt. And please speak to your motion.
Yes, thank you very much. RSA 186-C:16C addresses rules exceeding state or federal minimum requirements. That's in law right now. Whenever the State Board of Education proposes to adopt or amend any special education rule which exceeds the minimum requirements of state or federal law, the State Board shall, in addition to the provisions of RSA 541A, issue a report of all such proposed rules which meets the following requirements. So that's already in statute, and the statute requires in this report, the annual report, 1, the rule number be stated. Number 2, the nature of the rule must be stated. Number 3, any state minimum requirement exceeded must be stated. Number 4, any federal minimum requirement exceeded must be stated. And in the next, the reasons for exceeding those minimum requirements must also be stated. What this bill does is simply adds in as a 6th requirement the following: the unfunded financial impact on local school districts for rules exceeding state or federal minimum requirements. So what this requires that this report also entail or incorporate unfunded financial impacts on the local school district. So that total would be there. And I believe this is necessary for us to realize what is going on in terms of our exceeding. I recognize there's places where we do exceed for good reason, some areas of special education. However, there's other areas which I quite frankly think that we need to be more cognizant of and understand. And this is the way we will find out that it'll be placed in the annual report, which is given to the state board and to us. Thank you.
Further, yes, Representative Damon.
Thank you. I'm concerned that a bill that is about financial impact of rules doesn't have a fiscal note in regards to the cost of assessing and doing the work of this bill. And I'm concerned that there are very likely to be consequences that result in lessening the standards that New Hampshire takes pride in for our better than the federal minimum requirements. I'm opposed.
Representative Luno?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I'm opposed to 718 as well. And while I think on its face, understanding which rules are unfunded mandates, and it goes beyond just identifying the rules that exceed state and federal law. So in this case, we're identifying the ones that are unfunded by the state, but are actually funded by by our local property taxpayers. And I think one of the things that really jumps off the page to me is that this puts us on a slippery slope to low standards and no standards, which I think has been a hallmark of our Department of Education, despite the fact that our public schools perform among the best in the country.
Representative Papadish-Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to state on the record that I do not share the concern expressed by my colleague that reporting on the cost of the rules that we adopt will somehow lead to changes to the worse, because I think it is the duty of the legislature to examine the consequences of its actions. When we pass laws or when we approve rules, we should look at their costs, and we should always keep an eye towards whether the benefits achieved through those rules are worth the cost. So this does nothing more than help us do our job better, and for that reason, I do not share those expressed concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there further comments? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll. This is on the OTP motion for HB 718.
Representative Spilsbury,
Yes.
Representative McGuire,
Yes.
Representative Erf,
Yes.
Representative Kofal,
Yes.
Representative Golcom,
Yes.
Representative Popovich, sorry.
Yes.
Representative Brown, yes. Representative Mahegan,
Yes.
Representative Peoples,
Yes.
Representative Luno,
No.
Representative Ames,
No.
Representative Burton,
No.
Representative Fellows,
No.
Representative Damon,
No.
Representative Bricky,
No.
Representative Chrétien,
No.
Representative Weinstein,
No.
Chairman Ladd,
Yes.
10 yes, 8 nay.
I actually don't get what's wrong with this.
Okay, the vote being 10 yes, 8 nay. OTP motion report will be written by Representative Ladd, and a minority report.
Yeah, the big minority report for ITL.
Representative Damon will write the minority report, ITL. Thank you.
We're not going to have an amendment, so.
You're not going to.
No. 7-7.
Okay, we're going to go back and take up now HB 770. This is relative to establishing a program to earn tuition credits for state of New Hampshire higher education institutions through community service. And I look to Representative Peoples for a motion.
Thank you, Chairman Ladd. I'd like to make a motion to ITL that bill.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Representative Peoples makes the motion of ITL and second by Representative McGuire. This is HB 770, ITL. Representative Peoples, would you like to speak to your motion, please?
Thank you, Chairman Ladd. Yes, I think right now with the current state of the budget and creating another program that would be a drain would be a fiscal mistake. That's why I made the motion for ITL.
Representative McGuire? Do you have anything to pass on that? Further discussion on this, Representative Luno?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I would just like, well, I'm sorry that that 770 is facing the disposition of ITL, and I just want to thank and congratulate both Ryan Casey and his sister Morgan for working diligently over the last 2 years to bring this bill forward, and working with Representative Schultz to be the prime sponsor. And Ryan, I think, is in his junior year at Bishop Brady. Morgan is now in her first year or second year now in college. And I think this has been a great exercise in leadership and in civics for both these great students. And I hope they'll continue to work on it despite what appears to be its outcome today. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion, Representative Burton?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to point out that we had huge service learning programs at my school, and our research showed that their grade point average went up 1.0 after they'd been out in the communities doing community service, because they saw the relevance of the work they were doing. And so I favor this program for that reason, that we need people in the citizenry that really appreciate doing public service. Thank you.
Further discussion from the committee, Representative Spilsbury?
I would just like to echo that I thought Ryan Casey did a superb job for a young fellow in presenting. I see a strong future for him.
Further, Representative Popovich?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just would like to echo the same positive comments, and I just want to state on the record what I said off the camera after the presentation, that was one of the most impressive presentations for a bill that I've seen from a young member of our state, and that was just spectacular work. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion? Not seeing any. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll on HB 770?
Representative Spilsbury.
Yes.
Representative McGuire.
Yes.
Representative Erf.
Yes.
Representative Kofal.
Yes.
Representative Colcom.
Yes.
Representative Popovich.
Yes.
Representative Brown, yes. Representative Mahegan.
Yes.
Representative Peoples.
Yes.
Representative Luno.
No.
Representative Ames.
No.
Representative Burton.
No.
Representative Fellows.
No.
Representative Damon.
No.
Representative Bricky.
No.
Representative Chrétien.
No.
Representative Weinstein.
No.
Chairman Ladd.
Yes.
10 yes and 8 no.
Okay, there'll be a minority report written by
There will by Representative Burton.
Representative Burton. And, okay, so that takes care of where we are today.
Oteo.
We will meet again Tuesday next week, and we have a number of bills which are all the funding type stuff. And we will have some other bills on there which may carry forward, and we may exec. So if you're going to be absent, please let your caucus or your leadership know that you may not be here and you will need a sub. So that'd be Tuesday next week, and then we meet again the following Tuesday for that be the 4th of March where we're going to have absolutely get all the early bills out of committee. Further, yes, Representative Luno.
So thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Seeing as there's no House session next week, when would you like to have committee reports?
So I guess I would like to, not crowd you and say you got to be in by noon tomorrow, but if they're in by, give about 2 or 3 days, get those things done and get them to me.
Sounds good.
Yeah, by Friday, that'd be good.
Okay, great.
By
Thank you
Friday.
very much, Mr. Chair.
That'd be good. Anybody else? Thank you very much and have a good afternoon. Okay, so.
Thanks for doing that. I think your experience there.
Representative Hopkins, before you disappear, let's speak for a second. Any other-
Oh, all right. Okay. Well,
It's been reserved for the rest of the year. So for us. On Tuesdays.